I'm back.
Yay.
You didn't have the button on. I know better. Matt Parker over there with his head in his hands.
He's next to the award-winning radio lady.
Yeah, whatever.
Award-winning my foot.
Robert's out this week. He is traveling the globe. I don't know where he's going, but I know he spent a little time in New Orleans.
He was last seen headed south.
Yes, he was. Dan Keel is here. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
I brought my trophy.
Cool. We got to talk about that.
Yeah, you want to watch us on Facebook, you can see the trophy, and it's really heavy. I'll let you hang on to it. I was trying to find a rope to kind of hang it around my neck, kind of like, what's that, Flavor Flav?
You need some gold chain.
Yeah, I need some sort of chain. We'll figure that out. Lots to do this week, including we're going to talk more about the violence. I need to get caught up on what kind of joint effort we're doing in our community to fight violence. I hear something happened last week big that I need to know about. Caddo Commission has got some big things on their menu today, including a new registrar of voters because Ernie's stepping down. I heard about that just this morning. I was like, oh my gosh.
And former Troop G commander Steve Robinson has passed away, so that's kind of big news for a lot of law enforcement officers.
Really sad news. And we'll be talking more, too, about that plane crash in the Dallas area in Addison. It's not nice to hear that the day after you got off a plane, but that's okay. Lots else going on. Big soccer matches happening tomorrow with the U.S. team. I know Matt's excited about that. We'll have Matt's Look at Sports is all coming up. And traffic and weather on the way, too, right here, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
KEEL Morning Report, now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Love Triangle leaves 2 dead in Caddo Parish. Matt Parker with the details.
A shooting on Long Branch Lane Sunday morning leaves 2 men dead. According to Caddo detectives, Brandon Brown broke into the home of his ex-girlfriend and shot her current boyfriend, Perry Bailey. The woman and her 5 children were able to escape the home unharmed. After exiting the home, the woman heard another gunshot from inside. When detectives arrived, they found both men suffering from fatal gunshot wounds. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Due to violence in our community, there's an evening prayer event happening today at 6. You're invited. It'll happen on the Texas Street side of the Caddo Courthouse. Organizers are encouraging men to attend. Galilee Baptist Church remembers those who've died due to gun violence. The church put out 17 flags, one for each person killed this year due to the gun violence. Pastor Brian Wilson says his biggest message to the community is to think. Wilson says a lot of bad things wouldn't happen if those involved stopped to think about the consequences. Congressman Mike Johnson hosting a town hall meeting in Natchitoches today at 10:30. It'll be at the Municipal Building. He'll host another one tomorrow at 2 at the Red River Library in Coshada. The Caddo Commission looking at a measure to help Queensboro residents hit by a tornado. More than a dozen families still need help and have asked the parish to chip in about $150,000. Slain postal worker is laid to rest. Hundreds showed up to pay final respects to Antonio Williams, the Shreveport letter carrier, shot and killed on the job last weekend. Dozens of postal workers were allowed to leave work for the service. Williams was a postal worker in Shreveport for close to 10 years. The U.S. Supreme Court defeated an effort last week to allow federal courts to intervene when states engage in partisan gerrymandering of voting districts. Fair Districts Louisiana co-founder Brandon Fask says the decision means Louisiana lawmakers can still draw their own districts and pick their own voters.
It is not healthy for the elective process. The most fundamental tenet of our democracy is that we have representation, one person, one vote. And anytime gerrymandering issues, the effects on democracy are really negative.
The court decision ended a legal effort to have North Carolina congressional districts rewritten in time for the 2020 election. Could some big changes coming to Shreveport City Council meetings? The council considering several changes, including limiting public comment. Another option being discussed is to move the meetings to a later time. Last week, we announced that Registrar of Voters Ernie Robertson was stepping down from his post. He served as Registrar of Voters since 1990. The Caddo Commission in charge of hiring Robertson's replacement. At today's work session, that panel will discuss the process of selecting a new voter registrar. Two high-speed chases both end in handcuffs. State troopers tried to pull DeQuentin Hicks over on his motorcycle for several speeding violations. Hicks, however, ran from troopers before eventually crashing on Hearn Avenue and being arrested. Then in a separate incident, Gamaliel Wilson tried to flee from troopers on Highway 1. After getting boxed in, Wilson tried to flee on foot but was ultimately caught. The air crew and all passengers dead in a fiery small plane crash in the Dallas area in Addison. Peter Drake says he watched it all happen.
I was in shock. I was really in shock. I mean, I was like, you see this stuff on videos on YouTube, but you can't believe you're actually seeing it in real life happening in front of you, you know. And it was insane. It was crazy.
Federal investigators say they're reviewing several videos of that incident. A guy is caught at the Atlanta airport trying to smuggle 2 snails into the country from Nigeria. The animals were caught by customs agents' dogs. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
It looked like it was like clearly.
Yours.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Ruby with a look at traffic.
Looks like I-49 South's got it clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 east and westbound near the Cross Lake Bridge due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
One 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert is off this week. He'll be back a week from today. Dan Keel is here.
And the Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. If you would like to jump in and give us your thoughts.
Yeah, anything you want to chat about, we'll be happy to, possibly read your text on the air. You never know. Matt Parker is here. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thanks.
How old are you now?
32. And you know what the
32.
best gift I got while you were gone?
What?
You being gone. It was fantastic.
Was it?
Yeah.
I'll give that to you every year then.
No singing. no harassment.
I've been singing. I'm gonna pass this around. Y'all can peruse this. This is the
this isn't the My Little Pony picture Matt got for his birthday.
This is the Gracie Award.
That is cool.
That I won. But you have to hold it. You're going to appreciate it till I pass it to you. So I'm going to pass it to you first,
throw
Matt.
it to me like a football?
No, I can't throw it to you.
Okay.
Jeez.
I know.
This thing could do some damage.
That's what I'm saying. It
Is
could
that made
really
out of lead?
knock Robert out. Seriously, it's heavy. Oh my goodness. I know. And it comes with its own box.
It's like a sculptured parabolic spoon.
Yeah.
And it's got Robert at Erin in the morning. Mm-hmm. That is neat.
Comes in a box. It's got, a holder for it and all that good stuff. Isn't that pretty cool?
That's very cool.
And it was a
let me put this back
it was
over there.
it was a neat trip to New York. It was flew down there Tuesday, and the luncheon was on Wednesday. Spent a couple of days, Thursday, Friday, just kind of tooling around the city with my bro. My brother came up from Baton Rouge, and we spent the week together, which was such a blast because he had lived in New York for a few years. And he goes back to visit all the time, so he knows everything.
What was the ceremony like, or the presentation, the luncheon?
It was a big room, about 30 tables of 10, I would say.
About 300 people.
About 300 people. The room was elegant. I mean, when you walked in the room, it's this big, it's an old bank. The building is an old bank, but it's been turned into this magnificent banquet hall. But you still have some of the things around the side are like the old teller windows with the cast iron that over it says teller, and it's just kind of really cool because we're right next to Grand Central Station, so you see some of those things too, the treatment from that kind of era. And it was a mosaic tile floor, so no, the shoes aren't going back. Just FYI, I'm gonna keep them. But they had a whole crew of waiters and waitresses as you walk in, with flutes of mimosas and champagne, and then artichokes and shrimp, and they were passing around all these hors d'oeuvres. They had this beautiful silent auction that had some really pricey stuff on it. And all the hors d'oeuvres went around the room for a good 30-45 minutes, and then they escort everybody to their tables. And you sit down at your numbered table with your crew. I sat down with my crew from Town Square, Bill and Kurt and Jared and Alyssa, and a couple of the other ladies from the New York office were there. Connie, my co-winner from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and her husband were there. It was just a spectacular room. Erin Moriarty from CBS News, I believe, was one of the big winners. She was given a lifetime.
The other Erin.
Yeah, she was given a Lifetime Achievement Award. So she was at a table with a crew from CBS, and there were winners from all over the country. Of course, I passed out my Mardi Gras beads. Thank you to Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. That was a hoot. But I just got to meet and mingle with so many cool people. And my hotel was literally right across the street. I jaywalked back and forth because I didn't want to in those shoes. Those were like 3-minute shoes. So I jaywalked.
I thought the shoes were going in some sort of museum.
They might. They might. I might ultimately put them in a museum. I don't know. But you know what? I'm humbled by this. I think this is so cool. I'm told I'm the first winner of a Gracie Award from Louisiana.
Cool.
Which, for the local awards. Of course, they've had some national awards for Ellen and folks like that. But for a local winner, it's just I'm such a humble, I'm like, I still can't really believe it happened. I'm like, this is kind of cool.
Well, Robert was very genuine in his praise and appreciation for you last week in your absence.
Well, that's sweet.
I got to tell you, he was really sweet, Robert. And he talked about this all week long, what a big deal it was. And then one of the questions was asked was, will this affect you? And I can't quite paraphrase, and Matt was here, but it was something along the lines that you're a cranky old woman going through menopause, and so it won't affect you one bit.
No, is
that fair?
Well, that was Robert's stance.
Yeah.
I said that was just validation for all your craziness. So, so any hope of us reeling you back in and getting you back into the real world is now gone.
But we're here.
Yeah.
We're here to try.
Yeah. But if I had to sum it up and I want to talk about some nasty things that happened in New York later, but if I had to sum it up into one, how I feel about 35 years I've been in this city doing what I love to do, that's simply it.
Mm-hmm.
I never wake up in the morning and go, oh God, I don't want to go to work today. I mean, there's days when like, oh, it would have been nice to sleep in,
Well,
and all that.
there are days when you come in here and you kind of wish it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
but that's rare.
You do. But I always look forward to what's next. Like, who am I going to, I haven't picked up my cell phone yet, but I'm about to. Who am I going to bother this morning?
Right.
Who's going to be
The
my
days
first?
yet young.
Yes. Who's going to be the first person I decide, hey, I'm going to bother you because I don't have guests lined up because I didn't do anything this weekend to plan today's show.
You actually vacate.
Yeah. So, who am I going to bother first? Are they going to be happy to hear from me? Are they going to be cranky? Will they even answer my call? I look forward to that. I look forward to being a nuisance. And I think that's fun.
Can we go back to what I just said about you being validated for all your insanity and not mellowing out what is just going to make you worse?
Yeah. I truly, if I turn it around, Shreveport Bossier should be kind of cool, kind of proud. The very first Gracie Award given out to anyone from the state of Louisiana is a little old Shreveport gal.
And you do this for the people on the other side of the radio, waking up, brushing their teeth, doing all the stuff that they do while they're with us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, I just love what I do. I love what I do, and I hope it comes through, and that's my goal. So anyway, had a great trip to New York. I had one butthead I ran into. I want to tell you that story when we get back, if y'all don't mind. I got a butthead story, and I wanted to crush this little gal, but I put on my southern sweetness, and I didn't crush her.
Bless her heart.
Yeah, bless her pumpkin-headed self. We'll tell you that story when we get back right here at 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Right now, here's Ruby.
Starting things off looking pretty clear for your early morning drive to work, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Southfield Road near Uri Drive due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Maddie's got sports.
After the first day of free agency, it looks like the Brooklyn Nets may be the team to beat in the NBA. Both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving signed deals with the Nets, instantly making them a top contender for the title. The U.S. men barely beat Curacao 1-0 to advance in Gold Cup soccer action. The U.S. was beat in every statistical category, but somehow managed to pull off the victory. Meanwhile, the U.S. women's national team will take on England tomorrow at 2 p.m. in FIFA World Cup action. Nate Lashley dominates the Rocket Mortgage Classic, winning by 6 strokes and finishing 25 under par. The win earns Lashley roughly $1.3 million. And in baseball action, the Rangers suffered a beatdown at the hands of the Tampa Bay Rays, losing 6-3. The Astros beat Seattle 6-1. The Yankees beat the Red Sox 12-8, and the Braves went down to the Mets 8-5. From the KEEL Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert is off this week. Dan Keel is here with me. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
I spent some time in New York City.
New York City. Sorry.
The Big Orange. The Big Apple, right? It's the
Big Orange Apple.
Yeah. And got my Gracie Award, and you can see it. Here it is. If you're watching us on the Facebook feed, here's my Gracie, and it's kind of cool. I'll put it closer to me. I don't know what can show. I want to hang it around my neck. Matter like put it on my head or something.
Can we hang it around your neck and then push you into the Red River and see what happens?
No, we can't do that. But I had an incident while I was in New York City, on a subway train, that it makes me sad for some people who live life like this. It really does.
I just picture subway trains as those things with the hanger straps and people standing up next to stripper poles.
That was a lot of that was if you caught
a lot of that is the quote unquote seating or the placement.
Yes, if you catch a train when it's busy, you might be standing up.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what event we were coming from, what location, but I knew I was tired. I was worn out.
Standing or seated?
I got on, and there was one available seat. It was between a man and a woman, and my brother knows Erin needs the seat. So he kind of blocked in so I could grab the seat, and then he stepped away so I could grab the seat.
You wearing the heels?
No.
Okay.
I only wore the heels to the banquet.
Running around
yeah.
shoes.
I was in my runaround shoes, but I was still tired. And so I plopped down between this man and this woman. And this woman was, she had on these high heels. She was very pretty, long red hair, young, 25-ish.
Slender, lithe.
Oh, yeah, very skinny. Needed a good meal. And sat down betwixt them. Of course, those seats are not big enough for my wide-ass body, okay? I've got a wide butt, all right? I'm toting serious WB, okay? And I know that, and I get that. But as I sit down, I kind of scoot back in the seat, and she looks at me, and she goes, "Don't sit on me." In this just nasty voice.
Don't sit on me.
Don't sit on me. And so I scoot up in the seat a little bit to kind of get my wide body, out of her.
Are these little plastic
little plastic
seats?
cup seats,
and so you had a little Dunlap on both sides?
Yeah, I was Dunlapping. Okay. I was absolutely Dunlapping. No doubt about it.
You were invading her space, in
absolutely invading of her space. Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. And so I scooted up to try to move, my WB
right.
a little bit out of her way. But we're still touching thighs or whatever. I don't know. So about a minute into the trip, she stands up. She goes,
indignantly,
You're still sitting on me. And so she moves across the subway to the door where she's standing up now, holding on to the little strappy strap. And, I look at my brother. I'm like, free seat, dude. Have a seat. And so he plops down in the seat. And he's like, why didn't you go after her? Why didn't you lean in closer? Why didn't you hug her?
Breathe on her or something?
Yeah, why didn't you
elbow her?
Why didn't you say something rude to her? I'm like, that's just not my style. It's just not my style. And he, he's wanting to get her. And all I could think of, ladies, you know what I'm thinking. She's in these big 4-inch heels. Every time the train comes to a stop, she's wobbling, trying to hold on.
With the pole right there.
I know deep in my heart, her feet are killing her. Her feet are in pain. She wants to sit down, but she would rather endure that pain than my thigh touch her thigh.
Than some have proximity with your denim.
How do you go through life living like that? If your mother knew that's how you behave to an older woman, how would your mother feel about you today if that's how you behaved? And my son, I talked to him about it, and he goes, Mom, you always taught us to always be the bigger person. And that's what
Which
you were.
Which in this case you are.
You were the big... Yeah, I was in both ways. I was the bigger person in both ways. But I feel miserable for people that live their life like that. That she thought nothing of... Because to me, what I heard was, your fat butt is on me. Get your fat butt off of me. That's what I heard.
It's not like you were on her lap. You weren't sitting
I
on her.
wasn't sitting on her lap.
No, you were just next to her.
We were touching because of my overhang.
But you were kind of in the middle seat.
And the guy on my other side, he didn't have an issue with it. He was okay.
Was he humming or anything?
No, he just kind of chilled.
Okay.
He just kind of chilled. And when my brother was like, "Oh, I want to say something to her." I had to calm him down until she got off.
And he's Baton Rouge born and raised.
He is,
right?
but he's a New Yorker.
He's
He's
been
got
there a while.
New York through and through.
Okay.
And he had a couple episodes where people were rude, and he would just turn around and go, "You are rude," and then he'd just keep walking. I'm like, Michael, you're going to get shot. Stop it. Stop it.
Is it true that people who are in the city like that really just appear to be rude, that's just kind of the outside demeanor?
I think in some cases, yeah.
You don't see people going, "Hey, how you doing? Good to see you."
You don't see that.
You
no.
walk down the street in Shreveport and people, "Hey, good morning.
Hey,
God
morning.
bless
How
you.
you
Have a
doing?
blessed day."
Have a good
Something.
day. They open
Yeah.
the door for none of that.
None of that.
And I didn't expect any of that. But I didn't expect to be called a wide body right there by some, anorexic, crazy woman who's living her life to be in misery every day.
You didn't call her a stripper?
No. But I reveled knowing her feet were in pain. I reveled the whole time she was on that train knowing her feet are killing her.
How long a trip was this?
It was she was on for another 10 minutes and she got off and then we had a couple more stops to go, but she was in pain for another 10 minutes, which I loved. I loved every minute of it. Anyway, I got to ask you guys about this police protection plan that we've got a new plan in place. Can we do that later on before 7 o'clock comes?
Sure.
All right, we'll do that when we come back because I'm curious about what we're doing in our community now. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here is Ruby.
Looks like I-49 South's got it clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 east and westbound near the Cross Lake Bridge due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
Information. KEEL News now.
10 on board, all dead in a fiery small plane crash Sunday outside of Dallas in Addison. Witness David Snell describes what he saw.
It looked like it was clearly reduced power. I didn't know if it was on purpose or not, but then when the airplane started to veer to the left and you could tell it couldn't climb, my friend and I looked at each other and we were like, oh my God, they're going to crash.
Federal investigators say they're reviewing several videos of the incident. A love triangle leaves 2 dead in Caddo Parish. A shooting on Long Branch Lane leaves 2 men dead. According to detectives, Brandon Brown broke into the home of his ex-girlfriend, shooting her current boyfriend, Perry Bailey. The woman and her 5 children were able to escape the home unharmed. After exiting the home, the woman heard another gunshot from inside. When detectives arrived, they found both men suffering from fatal gunshot wounds. Slain postal worker is laid to rest. Matt Parker has the details.
Hundreds showed up to pay their final respects to Antonia Williams, the Shreveport postal worker shot and killed on the job last weekend. Dozens of postal workers were allowed to leave work for the service. Williams was a postal worker in Shreveport for close to 10 years. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Could big changes be coming to city council meetings? The council considering several changes, including limiting public comment. Another option being discussed is moving the meetings to a later time so more people can attend. Several members of the council, including John Nicholson, think that comment should be limited to agenda items, while others feel the input from the community is necessary to do their jobs. Last week, it was announced Registrar of Voters Ernie Robertson was stepping down from his post. Robertson has served as registrar since 1990. The Caddo Commission's in charge of hiring Robertson's replacement. At the work session today, the commission will discuss the process of selecting a new registrar of voters. Two high-speed chases both end in handcuffs. State troopers tried to pull DeQuentin Hicks over on his motorcycle for several speeding violations. Hicks, however, ran from troopers before eventually crashing on Hearn Avenue and being arrested. Then in a separate incident, Gamil Wilson tried to flee from troopers on Highway 1. After getting boxed in, he tried to run on foot but was ultimately caught. An LSU study shows high social and economic costs occur when there is failure to diagnose and treat conduct disorder in children, which covers a range of severe antisocial, rule-breaking, and aggressive behaviors. LSU psychology professor Paul Frick says details of the symptoms of conduct disorder,
being aggressive to stealing and destroying people's property, just breaking major rules, like skipping school, truancy, running away from home.
Conduct disorder affects about 3% of school children nationwide. Workers in several states and cities getting a pay raise today with minimum wage increases going into effect.
The minimum wage here in D.C. hits $14 per hour starting today and $15 an hour next year. Minimum wage hikes also hit today in New Jersey to $10 an hour and Oregon to $11.25. Cities are also making moves to keep up with the cost of living, L.A. and San Francisco included. The federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Several Democratic presidential candidates are proposing a nationwide increase for the first time in about a decade. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
And Pepsi plans to ditch all plastic for aluminum. No more water bottles. It's an effort to reduce plastic waste. You'll soon find Aquafina water in aluminum cans. Plastic, though, will still be used for sodas. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin in the morning. He'll be back on Monday, taking a week off. Dan Keel is here.
Good morning.
I want to, we're going to do a short segment here, then when we come back, we're going to talk about police protection. But I do want to invite you tomorrow to lunch with me. The Glenwood Tea Room, if you're a regular listener, or if you just want to come out and say hi, want to stop by. You don't have to have lunch. You can just stop by and say hi. I'm going to bring my Gracie and stop at the Glenwood and have lunch. 11:30 tomorrow is when I'll be there.
Wearing the heels?
No, that's not going to happen. No. Wearing my sneakers.
Put them in the museum now.
Wearing my sneakers. And it's to help Kara Hamilton, the family. She's stage 4 cancer and is at MD Anderson now, and her family runs this iconic local business, and I'm just doing it to help them. If I can help in any way I can, that'd be great. If you can stop by and say hi, great. You don't have to buy anything. I'm just encouraging you, if you want to come out and say hello and take a look at my trophy. If you want to, get a little gift for somebody, the Glenwood Tea Room's a great place to pick up a gift or a little surprise for someone, a bar of soap or some tea.
Can
whatever.
Men come in there?
Men are definitely allowed. Okay. So
You
men,
need an escort though.
Anybody can come. Yeah, okay. You guys are invited. You guys are welcome to join me. It doesn't matter. I'm going to sit and have lunch, or you can sit and have a cup of coffee, tea, whatever. It doesn't matter. But just some cool things in there, and I just want to help the family in any way I can. I may show up and be the only one there. I may show up and we may pack the place. I'm hoping we pack the place, but you never know. That's tomorrow, 11:30, the Glenwood Tea Room on Line Avenue. Hope you'll come by. You can hold the Gracie and look at it. I'll even let you lick it. If you want to lick the Gracie, you can do that too. I don't care. Whatever.
I know where that thing's been. You don't want to lick it.
No.
Don't take her up on that offer, for the love of God.
You probably don't. You're right. Police protection is next on my mind. I kind of want y'all to explain to me what we're doing, who's doing what, and all that good stuff, and kind of explain what everybody's up to, because I missed all that from last week while I was in New York City. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruby.
Looks like I-49 South's got it clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 east and westbound near the Cross Lake Bridge due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert is out. Dan Keel is here.
Hey.
I don't think I know the full scope of what's going on with regard to crime fighting. I know they had a big confab while I was gone of, all the agencies to decide what we're going to do, how we're going to help each other. What was the end result, Dan? I mean, I know you've been watching it and sorting it out.
And well, my take on it is what I picked up the subtleties. This has kind of been an ongoing thing. It wasn't a big confab. It wasn't some dramatic deal. It's just the usual coordination and cooperation, but this was held with the mayor. Mm-hmm. And so we have a different mayor and police chief than we had back when the city wasn't cooperating as much with other agencies.
Right.
But this has been going on for a while with coordinated efforts and a lot of things that people don't see. But the take from it all was that the city and the local law enforcement agencies want people to know and feel that they're safe, not just be safe, because the crime stats are going down, but people still feel because they're so aware of the crime.
Right. So will the sheriff be patrolling in the city? Will state police be patrolling in the city?
I think what the sheriff said was he's going to come through neighborhoods and his people are going to actively involve. They're not just, like he said, waving at kids.
Okay.
So they have jurisdiction here. I mean, it's not like once you step over the city limits, you're no longer a law enforcement officer. The sheriff is still the sheriff of all of Caddo Parish. So all of his deputies are as well powered within the city. And so you're going to see, and I've been seeing this even back near the end of the Tyler administration, where Caddo sheriff deputies would make traffic stops within the city, or they would back up SPD.
Mm-hmm. State police involvement too?
Absolutely.
I'm hearing. Does that mean they're going to be pulling people off of, like, say you were supposed to be running radar in Coshada? Well, now you're going to be in Shreveport, rolling the streets.
The state police have troopers who reside in various parishes, but we have several of them in Caddo and Bossier parishes. So if you're flying down Clyde Fant, you might get stopped with all blue lights. If you're going down Uri Drive. I came past the old Powell Buick location there on Uri this morning, and there was a state trooper working there. So,
Okay.
I mean, you're going to see them, but I think part of it is top of mind. When you know you're going to see them,
Right.
you're going to see them.
The other question is, and I don't know, Matt, you may know more about this too. I'm not sure. Funding for this. Is there going to be extra cost to this? Is there going to be something with regard to, who's gonna pay?
No, it's just part of their, part of Sheriff Prater's budget, part of the state police budget. It's no extra cost because basically it's like, well, nothing's going on out in the parish. Let's swing through the neighborhood. So they'll swing through the neighborhood, see if anything's going on there. It's not like they're pulling people off their regular detail and placing them in the city. It's sort of like an informal agreement where, hey, if you guys got some free time, why don't you swing through a couple of city blocks and see if you see anybody up to no good type deal.
Okay. So when you set up a system like this, you have to have some expectations. I know around the table there were like expectations. Do we know what their hope is, what they're expecting from this?
Biggest take I got was for people to understand that all agencies are working together. Some you see and some you don't.
Okay.
But we're going to see that. We're going to see some federal prosecution of some of this violent crime.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Guns and drugs.
Right.
Are going to get turned the heat up on. They have the crime studies. I forget what they call it, but they basically have data that says this neighborhood right here has lots of problems.
Sure.
So those areas are going to get some. But it's not going to be a kick in the door, knock the neighborhood down kind of saturation patrol. I didn't sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just going to be more patrols, different agencies, different looking cars.
Okay. Chief Raymond told us in an interview prior to me leaving that he had already begun shifting officers to those neighborhoods and to those hours where the numbers were higher. And I assume this will continue more of that. I would assume.
He's putting more people in uniform in police cars on the street. But when we were having all the problems with the cars being door latches being yanked on in the night, there were detectives out in unmarked cars that no one knew about.
Okay.
And they're they have cars that if you move them, they try to steal them. They know that the car moved.
Mm-hmm.
And over the weekend, I ran into a Caddo Sheriff's detective who was working in a marked unit out in the parish.
Right.
Because they're going through some transitions as far as their scheduling goes.
Had an idea it comes to me from my stop in New York during my ride on the buses and on the subways. They make an announcement periodically on those buses, at least. I didn't hear it on the subway, but on the buses they say, this is your city. You are the eyes and ears of this city. If you see something, say something. And it gives you a website and a phone number to call. And I thought that's pretty ingenious because now you're impacting, and in New York, obviously, you're impacting a lot of people who ride buses, a ton of people. And it gave you a real easy website to go to. If you see something suspicious, say something about it. And it was really empowering you to let you know this is your community.
Be a part of it.
Be a part. And I thought, I wonder if we could do something on our buses, on our transit system. Not that it impacts as many people as it does in a city like New York, but it does hit a group of folks.
And we've had a lot of incidents here where the Facebook pages, the social media pages, and the groups that are organized, where neighborhood watch has become digitized, and they've actually helped the police.
Right. Absolutely. Well, that's just an idea. Well, I'm glad to see they came together and kind of had a powwow and a meeting of the minds, and we'll have to see what happens. We had another double shooting in South Shreveport. It seems to be domestic related, though.
Yeah, it was out in the parish. It was sort of a love triangle gone awry where an ex-boyfriend allegedly broke into this home and shot the new boyfriend. And then both of them ended up dead. It was just a horrible situation.
The woman's okay. Her kids are okay.
Yeah, her and the 5 children were able to get out without being harmed, but still just a tragedy.
That's one of the sad parts about this job is you have to come in every day and talk about these horrible cases of violence, leaving people dead long before their time. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Right now, let's check in with Ruben.
Looks like I-49 South's got it clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 east and westbound near the Cross Lake Bridge due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
Rush Limbaugh, the authority for all things right. Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Matt checks out sports.
After the first day of free agency, it looks like the Brooklyn Nets may be the team to beat in the NBA. Both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving signed deals with the Nets, instantly making them a top contender for the title. The U.S. men barely beat Curacao 1-0 to advance in Gold Cup soccer action. The U.S. was beat in every statistical category, but somehow managed to pull off the victory. Meanwhile, the U.S. women's national team will take on England tomorrow at 2 p.m. in FIFA World Cup action. Nate Lashley dominates the Rocket Mortgage Classic, winning by 6 strokes and finishing 25 under par. The win earns Lashley roughly $1.3 million. And in baseball action, the Rangers suffered a beatdown at the hands of the Tampa Bay Rays, losing 6-3. The Astros beat Seattle 6-1. The Yankees beat the Red Sox 12-8, and the Braves went down to the Mets 8-5. From the KEEL Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert is out on vacation this week. That's kind of how we do it. I take a vacation, he takes a vacation, so we have 2 weeks apart from each other, which is kind of cool. It's
and
long,
I took my vacation last week so I could come spend this week with you.
Well, cool. Dan Keel is here in studio. He is a guest host, my wonderful friend who comes in and does this. We don't pay you a dime. I thank you for doing it. Your local attorney who, puts his life on hold, at least his morning life on hold.
From 5 to 9.
Yeah, and comes in and hangs out with me. Kind of tries to keep me in line. If you do want to send us a message, a text message, you're more than welcome to do that.
The Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884.
And this is my, I'm holding my Gracie Award. If you're listening to us on the radio, you can't see it. But if you're watching on Facebook...
It's like weightlifting.
It's a big, heavy, heavy trophy. It comes in its own box. It is silver in color. It says on the front of it, the Gracie Awards presented by the Alliance for Women in Media Foundation. On the other side, it's engraved, Erin McCarty, Robert and Erin in the morning. Co-host, talk personality, small media market, Town Square Media. And it's a heavy-duty thing. It's got the little felt dilly on the bottom so it doesn't scratch tables. And it's got a face inside this. I guess that's Gracie Allen's face, I would assume.
Probably.
Because it's named for Gracie Allen. Mm-hmm. So, it was an exciting event, a great week in New York. I had fun with my brother. Got to mingle with the Town Square brass, the big bosses from New York. Their home office was about 12 blocks away from where the award ceremony was.
Did you check out the digs?
I did not. They would of course welcomed me, but I knew they knew I had so many things I wanted to see, and they're like, she probably doesn't want to come see the home office. It's just computers and offices, and so no, I didn't go. My brother didn't want to go, obviously, and we didn't even inquire. So, it was fun to be with them, fun to spend the time in New York, and, super, super sweet to get this award. 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Right now, here is Rush.
Los Angeles is hemorrhaging bus riders, says the Los Angeles Times. Yeah, over the last 10 years, 95 million fewer trips have been taken on L.A. buses. They've lost 25% of their ridership. Now, here are a few reasons. High rents are pushing low-income people to more distant areas where they can't rely on buses. The law allowing illegal immigrants to get driver's licenses obviously means that more of them are driving cars instead of taking a bus. Plus, says the Times, a surge in the region's homeless population has sparked concerns about safety and sanitation. Translation to that is crime and filth on the buses is out of control, so residents are buying cars in record numbers. That means that Los Angeles traffic is now worse than ever, which means that bus travel takes even longer, which means even more people prefer to drive cars, which means California won't be able to fix global warming by increasing mass transit use. Unless they can somehow force more people back onto the hemorrhaging buses, it isn't going to make a difference of climate change. Anyway, it's a total cluster. It is a liberal conundrum of their own making, and it just keeps repeating. There's no way out.
Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Babbel's award-winning technology gets you speaking right away, whether you're learning Spanish, French, or German. And best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
Using Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons, you can be speaking confidently in your new language within weeks.
I was amazed that I could start having real-life conversations right away. It was so fast. Now I'm speaking Spanish. Woohoo!
No wonder Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Try it for yourself and see why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language, like Spanish, French, or more. You can try Babbel for free. Go to Babbel.com or download the app and try it for free. That's Babbel, Babbel.com, or download the app to try it for free. That's Babbel.com.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Texas Avenue near Mansfield Road, and we have some traffic delays on Old Benton Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
Breaking news and trending talk. KEEL, 710 AM and K269GO, 1017 FM, Shreveport. The KEEL.
And a good Monday morning to you. The 1st of July, believe it or not.
It's July already.
Unbelievable. Robert's out on vacation. Dan KEEL is here.
Good morning.
Matt Parker at the controls, doing a fabulous job. Lots to talk about in the news today, including 2 people dead in a shooting incident in Caddo Parish. We'll have the latest on that. A slain postal worker is laid to rest. Still talking about changes at city council meetings. People are a little bit upset about that. We'll be talking about that this hour coming up as well. And a new registrar of voters. Kind of a little bit of a controversy on that front this morning. We want to get into detail with regard to that as well. And so much more. And, I'll, of course, talk about my New York trip, my Gracie Award. Here it is. It was.
Don't hurt yourself.
Stop it, Matt. You know how humble I am. Yeah. But people want to see it.
People do want to know.
They want to see it. They want to hear about my trip and all the stuff I did.
We need to take a picture of that and post it.
Yeah, we do. We need. I know there's video of it that the Alliance for Women have put up or going to put up, and we'll have formal pictures and all that from corporate. But I'm waiting to get all that, and I'll post it all up and have a good time with it. But it was a great trip. More on that is coming up as well right here. Plus, Matt looks at sports. Ruben's got to look at traffic coming up as well right here. 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
The KEEL Morning Report, now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Love triangle leaves 2 dead in Caddo Parish. Matt Parker with the details.
A shooting on Long Branch Lane Sunday morning leaves 2 men dead. According to Caddo detectives, Brandon Brown broke into the home of his ex-girlfriend and shot her current boyfriend, Perry Bailey. The woman and her 5 children were able to escape the home unharmed. After exiting the home, the woman heard another gunshot from inside. When detectives arrived, they found both men suffering from fatal gunshot wounds. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Due to violence in our community, there's an evening prayer event happening today at 6. You're invited. It'll happen on the Texas Street side of the Caddo Courthouse. Organizers are encouraging men to attend. Galilee Baptist Church remembers those who've died due to gun violence. The church put out 17 flags, one for each person killed this year due to the gun violence. Pastor Brian Wilson says his biggest message to the community is to think. Wilson says a lot of bad things wouldn't happen if those involved stopped to think about the consequences. Congressman Mike Johnson hosting a town hall meeting in Natchitoches today at 10:30. It'll be at the Municipal Building. He'll host another one tomorrow at 2 at the Red River Library in Coshada. The Caddo Commission looking at a measure to help Queensboro residents hit by a tornado. More than a dozen families still need help and have asked the parish to chip in about $150,000. Slain postal worker is laid to rest. Hundreds showed up to pay final respects to Antonio Williams, the Shreveport letter carrier, shot and killed on the job last weekend. Dozens of postal workers were allowed to leave work for the service. Williams was a postal worker in Shreveport for close to 10 years. The U.S. Supreme Court defeated an effort last week to allow federal courts to intervene when states engage in partisan gerrymandering of voting districts. Fair Districts Louisiana co-founder Brandon Fask says the decision means Louisiana lawmakers can still draw their own districts and pick their own voters.
It is not healthy for the elective process. The most fundamental tenet of our democracy is that we have representation, one person, one vote. And anytime gerrymandering issues, the effects on democracy are really negative.
The court decision ended a legal effort to have North Carolina congressional districts rewritten in time for the 2020 election. Could some big changes coming to Shreveport City Council meetings? The council considering several changes, including limiting public comment. Another option being discussed is to move the meetings to a later time. Last week, we announced that Registrar of Voters Ernie Robertson was stepping down from his post. He served as Registrar of Voters since 1990. The Caddo Commission in charge of hiring Robertson's replacement. At today's work session, that panel will discuss the process of selecting a new voter registrar. 2 high-speed chases both end in handcuffs. State troopers tried to pull JaQuinton Hicks over on his motorcycle for several speeding violations. Hicks, however, ran from troopers before eventually crashing on Hearn Avenue and being arrested. Then in a separate incident, Gamaliel Wilson tried to flee from troopers on Highway 1. After getting boxed in, Wilson tried to flee on foot but was ultimately caught. The air crew and all passengers dead in a fiery small plane crash in the Dallas area in Addison. Peter Drake says he watched it all happen.
I was in shock. I was really in shock. I mean, I was like, you see the stuff on videos on YouTube, but you can't believe you're actually seeing it in real life happening in front of you, you know. And it was insane. It was crazy.
Federal investigators say they're reviewing several videos of that incident. A guy is caught at the Atlanta airport trying to smuggle 2 snails into the country from Nigeria. The animals were caught by customs agents' dogs. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruby.
The intersection at Kings Highway and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert is out this week. I've got my pal Dan Keel here.
Good morning.
And we're joined by Caddo Parish Commissioner Mario Chavez. Thanks for joining us on such late notice.
Erin, no problem, and welcome back to Shreveport.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it very much, Mario. A couple of big items on the commission agenda today's work session. One is the appointment of a new registrar of voters. Ernie Robertson has decided he's stepping down. The commission has the duty to appoint someone. We're hearing that Commission President Stormy Gage Watts actually wants the post, but there's a law that prohibits that. Is that accurate?
It's what the attorneys are going to look into, and they're going to advise us today on. I asked that same question. yesterday, and I was told today when we get to the work session that they're going to go over the laws and stipulations on if we can do that or if we can't.
Because I believe you have to sit out 2 years after serving on the commission, if I'm correct. I may be wrong.
I'll find out today, and I'll let you know as soon as I know, Erin. I just know that we were told we need to talk about it at the work session Monday afternoon.
What about her even voting on this if she has an interest? Are you concerned about that as well?
I am, Erin. That was the first thing that came to mind. It seems unethical. If it's perfectly legal, that's fine. But if that's what I know, Stormy has a big heart for the voting, for making sure that voting things go very well ran. So it's not a surprise that she wants that position. But if ethically she cannot do it, then obviously that'll help all of us in that decision.
What's the process for selection, just generally?
Well, I've already, believe it or not, about 5 different people have reached out to me for that job, and I was a little surprised at first when so many people came out of the woodwork telling me that they wanted that position. That I did some investigation on why is this job so important, or why do they want it so bad. Come to find out, it's a lifetime appointment. The pay is very good. And the fact that it's a lifetime appointment, that's where I think is the interest of a lot of people. And then some other people that have sent me letters of recommendations for people that have applied and sent me resumes, I realize that some people it's because they do have a heart to serve. And I don't think it's the money or the position that they're looking after. It's that they want somebody responsible in that position, because that's very, very important for our community, whoever's running the elections.
It's not an elected post. People think it is, correct? That y'all are just appointing till the next election. No, y'all are appointing for life.
For life, until that person resigns. So
but it's the integrity of the election process that's so important with that job.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you what, every person that has asked me to be on that position or that appointment, I told them, hey, listen, go get me a lot of letters of recommendations, because I'm going to want to see, if I don't know you, I want to see what other people say about you. I think that's paramount.
The qualifications, though, people would say, somebody within the office may be better, may know more about how you run the office, how you run the operation, and that just picking somebody, from the political realm or just general public may not be the way to go. How do you feel about that?
Well, listen, I run a business, and the way that I run my business is I want the best person for the job. I typically don't mind a piece of paper saying that they can do the job from a college. I want to know that they've had the on-the-job training, and that all comes back to the military. At the end of the day, if you know somebody can do the job and they can do the job great, I don't care what color they are, what party affiliation, as long as I know they have a lot of integrity and they're a self-starter, they're motivated, and they can do the job. That's the most important thing to me. So I'm going to look at who do I know can get in there day one running, doing the job correctly.
Recommendations from Ernie, would that matter to you?
Absolutely, 100%. And not to mention somebody that he likes that could look back to him to say, hey, listen, we're stuck in a rut. We can't figure out how to get around this. What do you recommend? Because at the end of the day, looking to your mentors, looking to the older generation to say, hey, how do I do this the right way? Because they've been here a lot longer than us. They're histories of students of history. They know the best way to do things. I think somebody that has a good relationship with him would be a great person as well.
There's a young lady in his office, I can't call her name, but she seems to be the day-to-day person who knows everything when elections, when I go down to vote, and other times I've been in the office. Would she kind of have the inside track, you think?
Well, if she's interested, I haven't heard from her yet. So that would be probably number 7 to add to the list, Dan, that has reached out to me.
Do y'all advertise this post? How's that work?
It definitely has to be advertised.
Okay.
The duration, I don't know. I'll find out today.
Another topic, the Queensboro folks that were impacted by a tornado, gosh, has it been a year?
It has been.
And they still need help. What's the holdup? What's going on with that?
Well, Erin, one of my fellow commissioners, he called out one of the commissioners for reporting something to the sheriff, and I'm pretty sure he was referring to me, because I'm not worried, and I can go on record to say that I did it. When I see contractors that get their license the day after money gets appropriated, and I see work on a branch that's 1.5 inches thick that fell on a roof, and that cost the parish $17,000, and we had to completely redo the entire electrical service because this huge limb fell on the roof, I'm going to scream fraud from the rooftops, and I'm going to want it investigated. I'm all about helping the citizens of our community, but when the help coming to the citizens of the community means that contractors are doing fraud at the cost of the other taxpayers, somebody needs to get up and say something about it. And I did. And if that means that they had to hold the money to make sure that everything was done on the up and up, and now we're hearing that the process is harder, I'm fine with that. If the process is harder because the contractors that are now taking advantage of this situation need to do more to make sure that it's done correctly, I don't think anybody's going to be objective to that.
So there's another 150,000 that the commission is looking at approving this week?
Absolutely. After the original 850, well, let me rephrase that. It was 450, then it was another 450. I think it got dropped down, and I think the total was around 850 to 900. So now there's another 100. So it's almost tipping $1 million. And at the end of the day, Erin, like I said, sure, it's about helping the citizens, but at the same token, if we were in the situation of Shreveport and we mismanaged the money, we didn't have any money around in the bank to let the citizens have or to help them out, we wouldn't be in this boat. The fact that the commission has money is why everybody always comes to us to get more money.
Gotcha. Caddo Commissioner Mario Chavez, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Kings Highway and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
.1017 FM, 710 Keel. A look at sports with Matt.
After the first day of free agency, it looks like the Brooklyn Nets may be the team to beat in the NBA. Both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving signed deals with the Nets, instantly making them a top contender for the title. The U.S. men barely beat Curacao 1-0 to advance in Gold Cup soccer action. The U.S. was beat in every statistical category, but somehow managed to pull off the victory. Meanwhile, the U.S. women's national team will take on England tomorrow at 2 p.m. in FIFA World Cup action. Nate Lashley dominates the Rocket Mortgage Classic, winning by 6 strokes and finishing 25 under par. The win earns Lashley roughly $1.3 million. And in baseball action, the Rangers suffered a beatdown at the hands of the Tampa Bay Rays, losing 6-3. The Astros beat Seattle 6-1. The Yankees beat the Red Sox 12-8, and the Braves went down to the Mets 8-5. From the KEEL Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
Oh boy, I dread this right now. I really do.
It'll be more painful if we ask questions.
I really dread this.
What'd you do dumb now?
I think this takes the cake.
You were asked if you were going to be humble after receiving that huge award. I think we're there.
Well, I feel really bad about this because I'm better than this. You know, I know I'm hearing that Robert was joking that I was going to leave my Gracie accidentally in New York, and I almost left it in Dallas. It wasn't my fault, though. But I say that to tell you that the Gracie got left in Dallas. It got put on a different flight and made it to my house late Saturday night.
So somebody from the airport had to drive it over?
Drove it to my house. Yeah, drove my luggage to my house and dropped it off.
At least you didn't leave it in an Uber.
No, I didn't leave it in an Uber. That's for sure. But the reason for it, my luggage not making it onto my next flight, my next American Airlines flight, was because the flights were tight. It was a tight squeeze, okay? Getting out of LaGuardia, landing at DFW, we had to fly around the Shreveport area through Tulsa because of a storm that was coming from Dallas to Shreveport. So we flew to Tulsa to go into Dallas. A little bit of a detour. So we were a smidge late. The gate, I was at a whole different gate, way away from Terminal B to Terminal C or vice versa. And I'm going to have to run. My decision getting off the plane is going to give it a trot to my next gate. Matt, you're laughing. I know why you're laughing. Or probably miss that flight and be on a later flight. So in my brain, Matt knows where this is going. Dan probably does too. Mm-hmm. I get off the plane. I go up to the desk and I go, is there somebody that can get me to my next gate? You know, on one of those little carts or wheelchair or whatever, because I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be able to run and hop on the train.
You're not going to do the OJ over
I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm just not. I don't have the gas for it. And so she goes, well, they had wheelchairs down there at your flight. You know, they were waiting for y'all.
They have those extended golf carts that I see people all the time.
Yeah, I would have rathered that. But she goes, but there's a man right here with a wheelchair if you want. See if he's busy. And he could probably take you. So I went over to him. I said, can you get me to my gate? I'm kind of on a tight schedule here.
Do I look handicapped enough to
and
qualify?
He goes, yes, ma'am. I can sure do. And he puts the little feetsy things down. He goes, show me your boarding pass. I showed him. He goes, oh, we got to hurry. And so he gets, God bless him.
So you were Modocking through the terminal on two wheels.
He was fighting because I'm a big gal, you know. I'm not a little waspy little girl. And he's, but he's hauling butt. And he's going around people and he's waving and we get to the train and he knows exactly what entrance to get on the train to get me on and off fast. And, you know, I'm digging through my wallet. I'm like, I've got to tip this guy a big, $20 or whatever. And he gets me on the train. He wheels me right up to my flight, past the line, that's boarding. They're already boarding. And wheels me right up to where I just registered because he's going to wheel me all the way to the flight, to the doors of the flight.
Right.
And I went, you don't really have to wheel me
so
all the way.
So you jumped up and are mysteriously
No, he goes, no, I have to take you. I have to take you
the whole
way.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I'm getting on a plane coming to Shreveport. And I'm like, there's going to be people that are going to see me going down this ramp on a wheelchair that I'm going to know, acting handicapped. But I was like, whatever. I didn't have to run. I didn't have to walk.
Well,
I gave him the $20.
After walking on the high heels, you probably actually qualified.
I actually had blisters on my feet.
I think
still
you probably
have
qualified.
Blisters. So he got me to but I'm embarrassed to tell that. I'm really embarrassed. But I get a message from American Airlines that my bag didn't make it on that flight. That I did, but my bag didn't. So it had to come later with my Gracie and all. But was that bad to take a wheelchair from somebody else? No, it was okay.
I mean, people may have differing opinions, but I'm looking at your physical condition over the top of that monitor. Don't you think she gets a break this time for feigning handicapped?
Yeah, Dan, I wouldn't have said that publicly to her face. I agree with you, but I wouldn't have said it. What is wrong with you?
I appreciate his honesty.
Yeah.
You're thinking the same thing. You're thinking, plop your fat butt in a wheelchair and let him haul you down there.
I'm surprised you didn't get one in the subway.
I feel guilty about it, though. What if I left, a 90-year-old woman having to walk through DFW? I'm like, oh, boy.
What I think you told the story earlier of the young lady that you were sitting on.
Yeah,
Well, to use her words. I think it would have been hilarious if you toured the corporate facilities and she was like the eye candy at the front door.
Oh, that would be
That would have been a
hilarious.
great story.
If I could find this woman again today, that would be hilarious. I would love to find her, but that's not going to happen. Anyway, so I apologize if I deprived anyone of the wheelchair that I used at DFW. I'm sorry. I needed it. I would have died.
Welcome to Shreveport.
And to your credit, you do not go to the store and get in those motorized carts.
No,
I've never seen you on one of those.
No, don't use those. Don't go to the store,
You don't park in blue spots?
No, I don't
this
do that.
one little exception.
One exception.
Because of your carriage.
Yeah, because of my carriage and the time frame I had to get down there.
I think you get a pass.
Thanks. I appreciate that. 101.7 FM 710 Keel. Here's Ruby.
The intersection at Kings Highway and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
Information. KEEL News now.
10 on board, all dead in a fiery small plane crash Sunday outside of Dallas in Addison. Witness David Snell describes what he saw.
It looked like it was clearly reduced power. I didn't know if it was on purpose or not, but then when the airplane started to veer to the left and you could tell it couldn't climb, my friend and I looked at each other and we were like, oh my God, they're going to crash.
Federal investigators say they're reviewing several videos of the incident. A love triangle leaves 2 dead in Caddo Parish. A shooting on Long Branch Lane leaves 2 men dead. According to detectives, Brandon Brown broke into the home of his ex-girlfriend, shooting her current boyfriend, Perry Bailey. The woman and her 5 children were able to escape the home unharmed. After exiting the home, the woman heard another gunshot from inside. When detectives arrived, they found both men suffering from fatal gunshot wounds. Slain postal worker is laid to rest. Matt Parker has the details.
Hundreds showed up to pay their final respects to Antonia Williams, the Shreveport postal worker shot and killed on the job last weekend. Dozens of postal workers were allowed to leave work for the service. Williams was a postal worker in Shreveport for close to 10 years. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
Could big changes be coming to city council meetings? The council considering several changes, including limiting public comment. Another option being discussed is moving the meetings to a later time so more people can attend. Several members of the council, including John Nicholson, think that comment should be limited to agenda items, while others feel the input from the community is necessary to do their jobs. Last week, it was announced Registrar of Voters Ernie Robertson was stepping down from his post. Robertson has served as registrar since 1990. The Caddo Commission's in charge of hiring Robertson's replacement. At the work session today, the commission will discuss the process of selecting a new registrar of voters. 2 high-speed chases both end in handcuffs. State troopers tried to pull DeQuentin Hicks over on his motorcycle for several speeding violations. Hicks, however, ran from troopers before eventually crashing on Hearn Avenue and being arrested. Then in a separate incident, Gamil Wilson tried to flee from troopers on Highway 1. After getting boxed in, he tried to run on foot but was ultimately caught. An LSU study shows high social and economic costs occur when there is failure to diagnose and treat conduct disorder in children, which covers a range of severe antisocial, rule-breaking, and aggressive behaviors. LSU psychology professor Paul Frick says details of the symptoms of conduct disorder,
being aggressive to stealing and destroying people's property, just breaking major rules, like skipping school, truancy, running away from home.
Conduct disorder affects about 3% of school children nationwide. Workers in several states and cities getting a pay raise today with minimum wage increases going into effect.
The minimum wage here in D.C. hits $14 per hour starting today and $15 an hour next year. Minimum wage hikes also hit today in New Jersey to $10 an hour and Oregon to $11.25. Cities are also making moves to keep up with the cost of living, L.A. and San Francisco included. The federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Several Democratic presidential candidates are proposing a nationwide increase for the first time in about a decade. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
And Pepsi plans to ditch all plastic for aluminum. No more water bottles. It's an effort to reduce plastic waste. You'll soon find Aquafina water in aluminum cans. Plastic, though, will still be used for sodas. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert is out. I got my pal Dan Keel here.
Hey.
And Matt Parker is at the controls. And Matt, I have to ask you a question. This short segment here, because I know I had a chance to chat with you guys one morning last week after I was at the, I believe it was the Whitney Museum. And I got to see, I'm a huge Georgia O'Keeffe fan, and I got to see a painting, a Georgia O'Keeffe painting that I had to turn to my brother and go, is this like the real Georgia O'Keeffe, the real one he goes, yes, Erin, these are all the real ones.
It's a museum.
Yeah.
It's an art gallery.
Yeah. So like when I went later to the Met and I saw the Picasso and the Rodin and the Monets and all the other ones I saw, those were the real deals, right?
Yes, it wasn't an oversized gift shop where you could get it wrapped up and take it home for $25. It was the
a
thing.
lithograph or even a ripped-off print.
Here's my other question, because my brother says, yes, these were, but I want to double check.
You don't believe your brother?
Well, I'm going to trust but verify, and I'll let Matt verify. The Museum of Natural History, okay, we go in there, and behind these glass walls, there are apes, gorillas, chimpanzees, monkeys, giraffes, tigers, lions.
Bigfoot?
No Bigfoot.
woolly mammoth?
These are the real animals that have just been preserved. Is that accurate?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's
That's
taxidermy.
a real giraffe. On my Facebook page, you can see that's a real giraffe. They've just preserved him.
You can go to Houghton and do that.
Can you really?
Yeah.
One of our coworkers does taxidermy. If you brought him a gorilla, he could,
He'd stuff it for you.
So that's not like a paper mache giraffe at the
No.
Natural Museum, the
No.
Museum of Natural History. That's a real giraffe
It's real natural history.
and a real baby giraffe.
Yeah.
And
It probably gave its life, early.
no, wait a minute, you bozos. In the middle of the museum, there's a big display. I think 3 elephants,
One of them was shot by Teddy Roosevelt, our former president.
and it's the same one from all those years ago.
It's not a replica.
Why doesn't it smell? How does it not?
Febreze.
Yeah, what's the That's a real elephant.
Yeah, that Teddy Roosevelt shot during one of his expeditions to Africa.
And they've preserved it and keep it on display there.
Yes.
Do they have to re-preserve it every year or every 2 years or
Not
something?
if it was done right.
So all those animals I saw were real.
See, someone who gets their culture from night at the museum
Yeah.
has a little trouble believing the real museum when you're in there.
There were some, because I did go read some of the things.
Mm-hmm.
There were some of the bones from dinosaurs.
You read a placard?
Yeah, I read a couple of placards, yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, I can read, by the way.
In New York City.
Some of those were replicas, they called them, of the dinosaurs.
Uh-huh.
They have one full, what's it called,
Ceratops.
That.
Yeah.
They have one full triceratops. That's the authentic bones.
See, they didn't have formaldehyde back then.
Yeah, you got a point. I do apologize for the picture of the little monkeys that are, there's genitalia. I didn't realize I took that picture. I'm sorry about that. It's on my Facebook. But some of the old bones from the old monkeys are real. I mean, they're real. And I'm like, how did they preserve the bones?
Did they keep you back behind a fence or a velvet rope or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're behind. And at some of these, there's a little rope in front of the artwork or the pieces, and if you stick your finger in front of the rope, the popo comes.
Somebody smacks it, huh?
Oh, they come over. They go, nope, you can't reach. Oh, past
Now-
that rope.
You went to Catholic school, right?
I did.
So you know what a ruler coming at you
Oh yeah.
sounds like.
Oh, big time. Big time. And they did. My brother reached across that rope at one point. Ooh, they
Oh,
came
yeah.
and got him.
Blame it on your brother.
They came and got him. Anyway, I'm just amazed at those are real animals, Matt. Thanks for clearing that up. 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on Texas Street in downtown Shreveport, and we're still keeping an eye on a major accident on I-220 eastbound near Hillary Huckabee III Avenue. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert is off for the week. He will be back with us on Monday. Dan KEEL is in studio with me.
Good morning.
Matt Parker at the controls. And saw something this morning, and Matt brought it to my attention. An interesting piece, and he's talked about it a lot, about some things we can do to improve downtown Shreveport. And I think there was great news while I was gone in New York with regard to the Arlington Hotel. We had a big announcement last week while I was gone. That's a huge step in the right direction. But Liz Swain, who is the Downtown Development Authority Director, joins us this morning on short notice. Very short notice. Thank you for jumping in this morning. You have a piece in the Times kind of saying that there's some things that Memphis is doing great that Shreveport could emulate. Describe why you wrote this, and what are some of the things that we really could look toward?
Well, Erin, I think people are getting hung up by the title of the piece, which is, Can Shreveport Look to Memphis for a Reboot? And that was really just to get people to delve into the column. What the overall column mainly is about how the city of Shreveport really needs the numbers to know what our future holds for us. In other words, we can keep doing things the way that we've been doing them for the past 40 or 50 years, but I think we know that if we do things the same way, the outcomes may be the same that we've always gotten. And is that really what taxpayers and elected officials want? So what are different cities doing differently to try to alter those outcomes? And there are several cities doing some really unusual, different things, and Memphis is one of them.
Give me an example of something unusual that is working for Memphis and for other communities.
Well, one of the things that Memphis is doing in this new plan that they've got called Memphis 3.0, and I would encourage everybody to just Google it, just read over it, see what you think. Maybe some of the things they're doing work for us, maybe they don't, maybe they need to be tweaked. I mean, after all, we're different cities. But Memphis is making some, they are telling people, look, we can only pay what we can pay for. That makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, every month you and I have to sit in our kitchen and do our budgets and figure out what we can pay for that month. Cities have not been particularly great at doing that. So Memphis is saying we have a finite amount of resources. How do we utilize them in the best possible way? Where are we getting best return on our investment? Where makes sense for us to deploy our cash, our limited cash resources? And are we going to really incentivize those things or pay for those things that are making us a return in the long term? And I think that is a completely different way for cities to look at things. They really have not looked at how to deploy resources in that manner before.
I was looking and listening to a presentation at a group I forget, and it talks about how much Shreveport has sprawled in terms of taking in so much land, and we don't have the resources to continue to maintain all that property that we've taken in. And Memphis is going up. Is that kind of what Memphis is doing? Rather than spreading out, they're going up?
Yep. And when you say going up, it's like they're money that is created by taller cities. Like when you look at a downtown and you see all the 17-story, 30-story skyscrapers, the tax dollars that you're achieving per acre for those buildings is significantly higher than the tax dollars you're receiving for like a big box store. But what Memphis is looking at and what Shreveport and cities around the country, look, this is not just a Shreveport issue. Let me make that really clear. It is nothing that we have done that every other city in the country hasn't done. It's just catching up with us, and it will catch up with every other city. It used to be that the way you made money, the way you got wealthier, was you annexed, and you got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and you took in all the high-dollar subdivisions, and that gave you a little boost in the near term. It really does.
Bigger tax base, yes.
Yeah, in the long term, over the 20 years, the 30 years, the 40 years, when that infrastructure note comes due, when you've got to redo the water lines, redo the sewer lines, redo the streets, then it becomes less and less of a boost and more and more and more of a hindrance to you. So cities are rethinking that whole theory of annexation now, but But unfortunately, we're starting to rethink it after we've already in it. And then, what do? You not only you've stretched the water lines in your streets, but now you have to have more police officers to patrol those areas, and more firefighters, and more substations, and more this and more that. So how do we face the future? And I think that mainly what I'm advocating in the piece in the Times was, let's have the numbers so we make our decisions based on fact instead of gut.
And you can't unannex. And then you have our community where you look at you look at the jobs numbers, and you see we've lost 2,700 jobs. We're the worst performer in the state from year to year, and those folks that are in those subdivisions that we've annexed over the years are now moving over to Bossier or DeSoto Parish, and so you're losing some of the residents as a result too. Correct?
Well, we are definitely seeing a decrease in our population number. We are, and we've got more and more property to take care of in between, let's say, our inner city and the farthest reaches of our city limits. So, there's a lot of burden on, again, not just our city, but every city. And it's time for us to, get those numbers, take a good hard look, make some decisions, not for the next 4 years, but for the next 20 years, the next 30 years. And Erin, this is not going to be an easy discussion. It is not everyone's going to be happy. In fact, most everyone, I think, will be a little bit unhappy. But if we don't start having these really tough conversations now, it's going to be far worse for us in the future.
Let me throw a curveball at you. You ready?
Oh, okay.
Okay, Lafayette's done it. Baton Rouge has done it. Why don't we? Combined city-parish government. Is it time to look at it?
Erin, I have never even studied whether that's a smart move for us. Again, I will go back to the fact that we have a huge parish.
Mm-hmm.
It is so much land mass that we're
and Caddo Parish is wealthy. The city's broke.
Let me tell you that money in the bank today does not mean money in the bank tomorrow. And again, as their infrastructure note comes due on all of those hundreds of miles of roads and everything else, all the other infrastructure that they're on the hook for, will they be wealthy in the future? What changes do we need to be making now? I am not convinced, but however, I think it's worth conversation and to see how these other cities are doing and whether it's made a positive difference, not just in the short term, but whether it's projected to make a difference in the long term. But I'm not sure about that yet. I really haven't studied enough on it to know.
Well, thanks for joining us on such short notice. We really appreciate it, and congrats on the really huge news last week. I was out of town, and
it's a great deal.
Heard about it, and I'm excited for it. It looks great.
Thank you.
Liz Swain, Downtown Development Authority. Appreciate you joining us. 753 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruby.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Line Avenue near Kings Highway due to construction. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive just north of Shed Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's a look at sports with Maddie.
After the first day of free agency, it looks like the Brooklyn Nets may be the team to beat in the NBA. Both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving signed deals with the Nets, instantly making them a top contender for the title. The U.S. men barely beat Curacao 1-0 to advance in Gold Cup soccer action. The U.S. was beat in every statistical category, but somehow managed to pull off the victory. Meanwhile, the U.S. women's national team will take on England tomorrow at 2 p.m. in FIFA World Cup action. Nate Lashley dominates the Rocket Mortgage Classic, winning by 6 strokes and finishing 25 under par. The win earns Lashley roughly $1.3 million. And in baseball action, the Rangers suffered a beatdown at the hands of the Tampa Bay Rays, losing 6-3. The Astros beat Seattle 6-1. The Yankees beat the Red Sox 12-8, and the Braves went down to the Mets 8-5. From the KEEL Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
.1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin in the morning. He is out. He'll be back with us on Monday. My pal Dan Keel is here.
Hey.
And you're always welcome to text us on the
Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884.
Yep, we will read your text. You never know. Right now, here is Sean.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
Hey, you'll never hear about this conspiracy theory, fake news networks. Well, according to the Washington Times, President Trump's approval rating is now higher than Barack Obama's was on the same date of his first term. Rasmussen Reports daily survey released Thursday shows that President Trump's approval rating is at 48%. Statistically tied with his disapproval rating. And during the same week of Obama's first term, well, he had a clear majority disapproving of his performance as president, 54% versus 46% approval. Now imagine what the president's approval rating would be today if the mainstream media and their coverage of him was not over 90% negative. Maybe somebody should tell Nancy Pelosi it seems the American people are pleased with their crumbs from the tax plan.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
Hey, if you're one of 34 million Americans that smokes, you know what a hassle it can be. For me, I'm out playing golf and I come back smelling like cigars. It's the smell on your hands and your breath, your clothes. But now, thanks to Juul, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Juul is a vaporizer. It does contain nicotine for a satisfying transition. Now, when I found Juul, it was a complete game changer in my life. I don't smoke any cigars any longer. And Juul was designed by smokers for smokers to be an alternative to whatever it is you're smoking. So if you're one of 34 million adults who do smoke cigars, cigarettes, pipe, whatever, well, there is an alternative to all of them. Now, to discover the smoking alternative, that's like nothing you've ever tried. Just visit JUUL.com/SwitchAmerica. That's JUUL.com/SwitchAmerica. Now, warning, this product does contain nicotine, and nicotine is addictive.
Starting to see some slow-moving traffic on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market, and we have some traffic delays on Benton Road near Green Acres Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Some sunshine, a few clouds, maybe a possibility of a shower popping up later on this afternoon. High temp into the low to mid 90s, so it's going to be a scorcher. Be careful.
breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
And a good Monday morning to you, July 1st, believe it or not. Robert is out this week. My pal Dan KEEL is here.
Good morning.
Matt Parker at the controls. Lots to talk about today, including more violence in our community. 2 people are dead. We'll talk about the latest on that. Also, the search for a new registrar of voters for Caddo Parish. That's coming up this morning as well. Matt has a look at sports. We'll have traffic and weather together all on the way right here, 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
KEEL Morning Report. Now on 1017 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
Love triangle leaves 2 dead in Caddo Parish. Matt Parker with the details.
A shooting on Long Branch Lane Sunday morning leaves 2 men dead. According to Caddo detectives, Brandon Brown broke into the home of his ex-girlfriend and shot her current boyfriend, Perry Bailey. The woman and her 5 children were able to escape the home unharmed. After exiting the home, the woman heard another gunshot from inside. When detectives arrived, they found both men suffering from fatal gunshot wounds. From 1017 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Due to violence in our community, there's an evening prayer event happening today at 6. You're invited. It'll happen on the Texas Street side of the Caddo Courthouse. Organizers are encouraging men to attend. Galilee Baptist Church remembers those who've died due to gun violence. The church put out 17 flags, one for each person killed this year due to the gun violence. Pastor Brian Wilson says his biggest message to the community is to think. Wilson says a lot of bad things wouldn't happen if those involved stopped to think about the consequences. Congressman Mike Johnson hosting a town hall meeting in Natchitoches today at 10:30. It'll be at the Municipal Building. He'll host another one tomorrow at 2 at the Red River Library in Coshada. The Caddo Commission looking at a measure to help Queensboro residents hit by a tornado. More than a dozen families still need help and have asked the parish to chip in about $150,000. Slain postal worker is laid to rest. Hundreds showed up to pay final respects to Antonio Williams, the Shreveport letter carrier, shot and killed on the job last weekend. Dozens of postal workers were allowed to leave work for the service. Williams was a postal worker in Shreveport for close to 10 years. The U.S. Supreme Court defeated an effort last week to allow federal courts to intervene when states engage in partisan gerrymandering of voting districts. Fair Districts Louisiana co-founder Brandon Fask says the decision means Louisiana lawmakers can still draw their own districts and pick their own voters.
It is not healthy for the elective process. The most fundamental tenet of our democracy is that we have representation, one person, one vote. And anytime gerrymandering issues, the effects on democracy are really negative.
The court decision ended a legal effort to have North Carolina congressional districts rewritten in time for the 2020 election. Could some big changes coming to Shreveport City Council meetings? The council considering several changes, including limiting public comment. Another option being discussed is to move the meetings to a later time. Last week, we announced that Registrar of Voters Ernie Robertson was stepping down from his post. He served as Registrar of Voters since 1990. Caddo Commission in charge of hiring Robertson's replacement. At today's work session, that panel will discuss the process of selecting a new voter registrar. 2 high-speed chases both end in handcuffs. State troopers tried to pull DeQuentin Hicks over on his motorcycle for several speeding violations. Hicks, however, ran from troopers before eventually crashing on Hearn Avenue and being arrested. Then in a separate incident, Gamaliel Wilson tried to flee from troopers on Highway 1. After getting boxed in, Wilson tried to flee on foot but was ultimately caught. The air crew and all passengers dead in a fiery small plane crash in the Dallas area in Addison. Peter Drake says he watched it all happen.
I was in shock. I was really in shock. I mean, I was like, you see this stuff on videos on YouTube, but you can't believe you're actually seeing it in real life happening in front of you, you know. And it was insane. It was crazy.
Federal investigators say they're reviewing several videos of that incident. A guy is caught at the Atlanta airport trying to smuggle 2 snails into the country from Nigeria. The animals were caught by customs agents' dogs. I'm Erin McCarty on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here is Ruby.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Line Avenue near Kings Highway due to construction. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive just north of Shed Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
.1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert is out this week. He'll be back on Monday. Got my pal Dan Keel in studio with me.
Hey.
Matt Parker at the controls. This is my Gracie Award. I've got it on the Facebook feed.
Looks
if you
great
want to
on
look
radio.
at it.
Oh yeah, so put it in front of the camera.
I'm looking at it on.
Okay.
I'm looking at the feed. You can see it on this view right here.
It's huge.
It's heavy. It's like an Oscar. It really is. It's a beautiful trophy. And I had a great trip to New York. Had so much fun. Saw so many cool things and learned a lot. I got lots of history lessons. Like those are real animals at the Natural History
And you
Museum.
wait until you got back here for that.
Those are real pieces of art in the Whitney and the Met and all those museums. Those are the real things. Learned a lot about that. Didn't realize those were the real deals. That's kind of cool. I did get back to find a little bit of a skirmish with regard to the city council and public comments. Are they restricting public comments? Are they thinking about
They're
it?
sure trying.
What are they doing?
Well, they made some efforts. There were proposals to limit the public comments. Matt's got really good details about that. But
what are they doing, Matthew?
Well, they kind of just want to limit folks that show up to only talk about things on the agenda. That was the pitch from John Nicholson and Willie Bradford and a couple of the others.
No, gentlemen and lady. I'm sorry. I'm going to be really upset by this. That is the time when people from our community have taken out of their day to drive downtown Shreveport, find a spot to park, pump quarters into a meter, or whatever they have to do to pay for parking, wander their booties into your building, go through your metal detector, and plop down and listen to all the BS that goes on in the beginning of your meetings, and get up and speak about something that they are concerned about in our city. And you won't let them speak if it's not on the agenda?
they're just trying to be efficient and deal with relevant things.
Oh, no. I will raise more hell about this than I've raised in a long time.
And the thing that you hit upon is people have complaints. And if it's efficiency, if they're trying to get to be efficient, cut out all that crap at the beginning that they do.
Yes.
That we could live without.
We could live without recognizing I know you want to recognize the Boy Scouts and all that. That's great.
No, I'm not even talking about that. Sometimes they just get up there and just jackjaw.
Yes. But let's do those recognitions maybe at another time or another location or another place. Go out to the Boy Scouts and do it. And I'm not ragging on Boy Scouts. I use that as a stupid example. But whoever you're giving, the proclamations, do that at their place. But if I want to get up, and I did this within this past year, if I want to get up before my city council and express concerns about something I see that's going on that impacts our entire community, by George, I need to have the right to do that.
It's the people's chamber.
Yes. And God bless you all for wanting to make it efficient and using that as the excuse, whatever. It's an excuse.
Now, can you get pithy and say what you have to say within 3 minutes? Because that seems to be a pretty
you'll have
universal
to be able
rule.
to do that, and I get that. They extended time for me, and I appreciated it when they did. But they need to stick to the 3 minutes. People need to sit down and shut their butts up after 3 minutes. That's enough. You can make your point in 3 minutes if you work on it. But they were, at the time when I did my little spiel, they were extending time, and they extended my time. But I just feel like you cannot express some things in an email or a phone call like you would to each member sitting there hearing the same thing. If I call you, Mr. Bradford, and I express my complaints to you, is that going to be the same conversation I have with Mr. Nicholson or Miss Fuller? If I call all 7 of you, because I think you all 7 need to hear what I have to say, do I need to go through that and make those 7 phone calls? Or can I come before you at my city council meeting and say, I think this is a problem in our city and I think you all need to hear it?
Some public bodies already prohibit asking questions, and I think the city council may be one of those. You can't really say what's your stand on this, which would also be a nice thing to be able to know.
Yeah, but to come back to find this as something that the city council is actually thinking about really gives me a major case of the Pibs. And I don't like Pibs just returning to town. And if you don't know what a Pib is,
it's like a churro.
It's my panties in a bunch. This has got them in a major bunch. Because there are many things on the agenda that are routine business and etc., and they're not going to get people's emotions stirred. I know the saggy britches did, but there are things that happen in our community that the city council needs to hear about in toto as a group. Rather than, individual emails or emails to a group, you can't express emotion and passion in an email. You just can't. And sometimes it has to be done. And I get they have those regulars who show up every council meeting and get up and speak and do that. And we had those. I go back to the Ann Stratton days when Ann got up at every, may she rest in peace. She was there at every meeting and she had great points and she spoke her time. And sometimes it was really well worth hearing. Sometimes it was the same old. But that's what public discourse is about. That's what these folks were elected to do, to listen to the public. And this frustrates me. It really does. Do you hear it in my voice?
Mm-hmm.
Does it anger you a little bit too?
Yeah, and it's sad. It's not funny. It's sad.
Yeah.
That's kind of the direction that some people's
I'm not
attitudes.
pleased.
Well, this is the quote from John Nicholson as related to whether or not they should stick to agenda items or whatever. He says, quote, "It's not constructive for this body to spend time listening to comments about matters over which we have no jurisdiction or control whatsoever." And then Councilman Bradford followed that up with, I talk to my constituents twice a week at public meetings. That's the place for off-agenda items, not necessarily here. So,
and if you got a beef with the school board, you don't really need to take it to the city council.
Right, exactly.
But if you want to get the city council behind you with your beef.
Sure.
And there are some things that overlap and interact, and not everyone is expected to know all that stuff when they bring it up there.
Yeah, and and I see, and John Nicholson is my council member, but I see Willie Bradford as my council member too, and I don't think they see that the other way around. Some of them. I think all 7 of them should care about my concerns, should care about what's happening in every district. I wish they all did more of that. I wish that all 7 cared about every district as much as they, and I'm getting on a rant here today, but I want them all to care about the entirety of the city and look at it as a big picture. If we help the MLK area, we're helping South Highlands. If we help every neighborhood, we're helping the city as a whole.
But you want to see statesmen. You don't want to see this provincial subdivision type district by district thing.
I want to see people who care about the big picture of our community, and the big concerns. And a big concern issue is something that all 7 need to hear at the same time. Whether it's a policing issue, whether it's a garbage collection issue, whether it's a property standards thing. I know you don't want to sit and listen to property standards complaints from Moortown. I get that. But if it's going on over and over and over again and nothing's happening, it's time to stand up before the city council, even though it's not on the agenda, and say, when are the 7 of you going to care about this? When are you going to come to Moortown and look at this and fix this? Or when are you going to Queensboro to fix this? Or MLK? Or whatever neighborhood? Anyway, I'm gonna have to take some blood pressure medicine right now because this has just got me over the moon. I do have an announcement to make next. I'm inviting you to lunch with me. I'm not paying, but I want you to come to lunch with me, and I'll tell you more about that when we get back. Right here, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here is Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Line Avenue near Kings Highway due to construction. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive just north of Shed Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here is Maddie with sports.
After the first day of free agency, it looks like the Brooklyn Nets may be the team to beat in the NBA. Both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving signed deals with the Nets, instantly making them a top contender for the title. The U.S. men barely beat Curacao 1-0 to advance in Gold Cup soccer action. The U.S. was beat in every statistical category, but somehow managed to pull off the victory. Meanwhile, the U.S. women's national team will take on England tomorrow at 2 p.m. in FIFA World Cup action. Nate Lashley dominates the Rocket Mortgage Classic, winning by 6 strokes and finishing 25 under par. The win earns Lashley roughly $1.3 million. And in baseball action, the Rangers suffered a beatdown at the hands of the Tampa Bay Rays, losing 6-3. The Astros beat Seattle 6-1. The Yankees beat the Red Sox 12-8, and the Braves went down to the Mets 8-5. From the KEEL Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin in the morning. He is out. My pal Dan Keel is in studio with me.
Hey.
And I want you to join me tomorrow.
Not just me.
Yeah.
All of you.
Yeah, if you're listening or you're a fan or you just are a casual listener and you've always wanted to say hi or meet, or to be honest, you want to see the Gracie Award that I won. People want to see it, hold it, whatever you want to do. It's a monstrosity. It's like an Academy Award, and I want to thank everybody in the community for the years of support because it's been quite a cool career. I'm not done yet, by the way. FYI, I'm not quitting. Sorry, Matt. But lunch tomorrow. I'm not buying, but I'm inviting you to join me. I'm going to be at the Glenwood Tea Room, 11:30 tomorrow. I'm going to bring the Gracie Trophy with me. You can see it.
That's kind of catty corner or across from Byrd High School.
Byrd High School, Line Avenue. Kara, the owner of the Glenwood, is battling. She's in stage 4 cancer, being treated, I think, at MD Anderson. Want to help she and the family. Don't know her well. We've crossed paths over the years, but just want to do my little part if I can to help her out. And so I want to get folks to come to her business tomorrow. 11:30 is when I'll be there. You can get a cup of tea. You might want to buy a gift for somebody. They got a great little gift shop area. Maybe you just want to come by and say hi. That's fine too.
Have a little Petit-Four sandwich.
Yes, they make great lunch sandwiches. It's a if you've never been, it's just a cool spot to stop in at and look. But 11:30 is when I'll be there tomorrow, probably till 12:30, 1 o'clock, something like that. Just meeting and greeting and kissing babies and such. And yes, men are invited. The Glenwood accepts men too. It's a great shop for ladies, but men can find some cool stuff in there too. So stop by tomorrow, 11:30. I'll be there. And again, it's just to help the family. That's the only reason I'm doing it. I don't even think they know I'm coming. Well, they do now, but I'm hoping we pack the place. I'm hoping I'm not the only person there. Will you show up, you think? Or you got work?
No, I think
Matt, can I drag you there maybe?
I'll be doing the news, but I might be able to swing by when I'm done.
Okay, maybe you can swing.
We may have to get extra traffic.
You know what? I'll buy your lunch for your birthday, Matt.
Aw.
How's that sound?
Aw.
Does that sound sweet?
I love free food.
So you get to meet the sexy Matt Parker while
when
you
would
stop
that
by.
be?
When would that be?
I don't find him the least bit sexy.
You don't?
Thank God.
No.
And Robert won't be there because I don't think he's back in town. But folks have said, I got a lot of messages. Hey, I want to see the trophy. I want to see it. Well, I'll bring it tomorrow and you
That'd
can
be
see
cool.
it and we'll pass it around. It's like a spoon, so I might order some soup.
It does look a little bit like a spoon from this side,
Kind of
like or ladle.
eat my soup with it. I don't know. It is kind of cool in that it's heavy, and I could really wonk Robert with this. If I hit him with this, this would drop him.
You could slice and dice him if you hit him with the side of it.
This would really, really harm him. So tomorrow's the day. Glenwood Tea Room, Line Avenue, right there across from Byrd High. 11:30 is when I'll be there. Hope you join us. I just want to help the Hamilton family. And I know they're going through I'll put details at keelnews.com, but I know they're going through tough times right now.
And your prayers, of course, are wanted.
Absolutely. Most definitely. 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Got to talk about the Registrar Voters Path. We'll have that coming up next. Right now, though, here's Ruben.
Crews are still cleaning up after a major accident on East Bercoons Industrial Loop near Fern Avenue. And we have another major accident clogging up traffic on I-20 eastbound near I-220 in Houghton. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
information. KEEL News now.
10 on board, all dead in a fiery small plane crash Sunday outside of Dallas in Addison. Witness David Snell describes what he saw.
It looked like it was clearly reduced power. I didn't know if it was on purpose or not, but then when the airplane started to veer to the left and you could tell it couldn't climb, my friend and I looked at each other and we were like, oh my God, they're going to crash.
Federal investigators say they're reviewing several videos of the incident. A love triangle leaves 2 dead in Caddo Parish. A shooting on Long Branch Lane leaves 2 men dead. According to detectives, Brandon Brown broke into the home of his ex-girlfriend, shooting her current boyfriend, Perry Bailey. The woman and her 5 children were able to escape the home unharmed. After exiting the home, the woman heard another gunshot from inside. When detectives arrived, they found both men suffering from fatal gunshot wounds. Slain postal worker is laid to rest. Matt Parker has the details.
Hundreds showed up to pay their final respects to Antonia Williams, the Shreveport postal worker shot and killed on the job last weekend. Dozens of postal workers were allowed to leave work for the service. Williams was a postal worker in Shreveport for close to 10 years. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Could big changes be coming to city council meetings? The council considering several changes, including limiting public comment. Another option being discussed is moving the meetings to a later time so more people can attend. Several members of the council, including John Nicholson, think that comment should be limited to agenda items, while others feel the input from the community is necessary to do their jobs. Last week, it was announced Registrar of Voters Ernie Robertson was stepping down from his post. Robertson has served as registrar since 1990. Caddo Commission's in charge of hiring Robertson's replacement. At the work session today, the commission will discuss the process of selecting a new registrar of voters. 2 high-speed chases both end in handcuffs. State troopers tried to pull DeQuentin Hicks over on his motorcycle for several speeding violations. Hicks, however, ran from troopers before eventually crashing on Hearn Avenue and being arrested. Then in a separate incident, Gamil Wilson tried to flee from troopers on Highway 1. After getting boxed in, he tried to run on foot but was ultimately caught. An LSU study shows high social and economic costs occur when there is failure to diagnose and treat conduct disorder in children, which covers a range of severe antisocial, rule-breaking, and aggressive behaviors. LSU psychology professor Paul Frick says details of the symptoms of conduct disorder,
being aggressive, to stealing and destroying people's property, just breaking major rules, like skipping school, truancy, running away from home.
Conduct disorder affects about 3% of school children nationwide. Workers in several states and cities getting a pay raise today with minimum wage increases going into effect.
The minimum wage here in D.C. hits $14 per hour starting today and $15 an hour next year. Minimum wage hikes also hit today in New Jersey to $10 an hour and Oregon to $11.25. Cities are also making moves to keep up with the cost of living, L.A. and San Francisco included. The federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Several Democratic presidential candidates are proposing a nationwide increase for the first time in about a decade. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
And Pepsi plans to ditch all plastic for aluminum. No more water bottles. It's an effort to reduce plastic waste. You'll soon find Aquafina water in aluminum cans. Plastic, though, will still be used for sodas. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
That's lifting weights right there.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin in the morning. Ugh, oh, Lord. I'm pressing my Gracie. It's heavy.
You're pumping
I'm
up.
pumping, yeah. Pumping iron.
What in the hell?
So this time, if you take on some waif in the subway, you'll be ready to just kick some booty.
Yeah, you got a point. Definitely.
Aaron McCarty, buff.
Back from New York City. I really don't say it like that, do I? I do.
You kind of do.
Yeah, kind of do.
It's like a Pace Picani commercial.
Say the word that follows CADO and means a governmental political body.
Caddo Commission?
No, the geographic area. What's the word?
Caddo Parish.
Say it again.
Caddo Parish.
Sometimes you say parish.
Parish.
Like you're from
Caddo
South
Parish.
Louisiana.
Caddo Parish. Caddo Parish. A great New York trip. Spent the week there. My brother went with me. We trekked all over the city. We went to every, we didn't do the Statue of Liberty and Rockefeller show. We, been there, done
Not
that.
the cliches place.
Didn't need to go do that. I did go. I do want to apologize to Elmo.
The red Elmo?
Yeah.
Did you step on him too?
Well, for some reason, and I don't really know why.
Oh God.
I stand out as like a sore thumb as a tourist. Okay? So there's this big crowd of people at Times Square. Huge crowd of people, in the busy spot where
like
you see the
circled
ball.
around something, or just meander?
Just lots of people walking around, looking up at the lights, looking at the ball that drops in Times
Just
Square.
meandering around.
Yeah, just hanging out. It's a lot of tourists, I'm sure. But then I look over, and there's a guy in an Elmo costume, and a guy in a Batman costume. There's a guy in a Superman costume.
Are they panhandling?
Then there's another Elmo, and I mean, this Elmo, there's hundreds of people around. This Elmo made a beeline for me. I mean, beeline straight at me. And I have a pretty good Elmo voice, so I can talk like Elmo. So I said, "Hi, Elmo, how are you?" And Elmo goes, "Elmo's doing fine." And then Elmo flashes me a card he has around his neck. Because now we're arm in arm, Me and Elmo have our arms around each other. And I hand my brother the camera to take a picture of me and Elmo.
Right.
I'm still oblivious to why Elmo made a beeline for me, okay?
Did Elmo have a camera?
Elmo did not.
Okay.
But Elmo had a sign around his neck that he flipped it over, and it said, "Elmo works for tips."
Not clever.
Photos for tips or something that.
When you got a voice with vocal nodules, that's
now we've already taken the photo, and Elmo shows me his sign. And I'm like,
guilt trip.
And then, of course, Batman and Superman and
they see you coming.
another Elmo, they all come over. Now we're taking a group shot, and they get the camera from my brother, and they get my brother in the picture, and somebody else takes a picture for them.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Elmo is showing me his sign. Elmo works for tips. And I'm thinking, now we got 5 of these jokers in this picture. How much do you tip
I want
them?
the cut.
And I didn't have cash. I didn't carry cash. So
You
I'm
should
like,
have
do
probably
I
charged them for being in the photograph with them.
do I slide my credit card down Elmo's butt crack? What do I do?
He's got a chip reader.
I looked to my brother and I said, "Do you have any cash?" And he goes, "I can't believe you just got us into this." And he starts opening his wallet, and of course Elmo's looking in his wallet. And then Elmo names his price. Elmo goes, "That's $20, sir." And my brother looked at him like he was on crack, and he went, "That ain't gonna happen, son." And then he pulls out a 10, and he goes, "All right, 10, 12, and he sees some ones. "All right, it's $12, $15. "No, you're getting 10. That's it." And my brother's looking at me like, "I'm gonna kill you for this."
So you got your brother into a haggling argument with a man in an Elmo suit.
Yeah, my brother in a fight with Elmo.
Have you ever been on a cruise and got off a cruise ship where they haggle you to sell you things?
No, but I've heard about it.
You need to do that before you go to New York the next time.
Okay, yeah. Well, I just apologize. I feel like we stiffed Elmo and his gang, and
I think Elmo got to you.
I think you're right. I think Elmo got me. I think I got robbed by Elmo.
It's a good thing you didn't see Big Bird.
You got a point. Absolutely. Next up, we got to talk about how you become the registrar of voters in our community, because current registrar Ernie Robertson is stepping down, and That's stirring up a lot of interest in a pretty big job. That is all coming up next, right here, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Here's Ruby.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Greenwood Road's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're still dealing with a major accident backing up traffic on I-20 eastbound near I-220 in Houghton. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
Woohoo! Early. Ooh-hoo. Is that better?
Closer.
101.
It's better if you don't do it.
Yeah, I got your point. Thank you. They don't like my singing around here. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert's out this week. Dan Keel is here.
Hello.
And we're going to be joined tomorrow morning. Dan will be here as well. Councilwoman Lavette Fuller has agreed to come in and spend a couple of hours with us tomorrow. So we'll be shooting the breeze tomorrow. And
she's fun.
She is. She's a lot of fun. I got to talk about Ernie Robertson because I love this man. I think he's been great for our community. And prayers with him. He's retiring, stepping down from his position as Registrar of Voters. Wishing him, he and his wife, all the best. But the Caddo Commission is now moving into the realm of finding a replacement for him. And I've learned some things today I didn't realize, that it's a lifetime appointment. Is that what we're finding out?
Yeah, for life. Until you decide that you don't want it anymore, you're there.
Like a Supreme Court judge?
Yeah, pretty much.
And Dan, you found the pay for a Registrar of Voters?
Step one is over $105,000.
Okay.
They can't diminish your pay. If you're the chief deputy and you get the regular gig,
right,
they can't diminish your pay from whatever your pay is at that rate either.
Okay, so like we have a chief deputy in that office now who wants the job, but she may be making already $120,000 because she's been there a long time and has gotten raises.
Right.
She'll still keep her $120,000 at her current level.
Right.
If she
you can't demote them.
Okay,
can't
the
reduce
salary.
Right.
Okay, so my question is, what are the qualifications to be Registrar of Voters? I mean, do you get a degree in that?
No, it's posted. It's kind of funny. It's like this degree and so many years experience, this degree and so many years in the office, but it's surprisingly the requirements are low.
Are they?
And if you read the statute that says what they've got to do, they shall offer to interview all qualified candidates. This could be like a talent search.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. So here's under Louisiana law, the new registrar must have one of the following at the time of appointment: a bachelor's degree from an accredited institution, and 2 years of full-time professional work experience. That's one.
Any kind of work experience?
That's what it says.
Wow.
2, an associate's degree and 4 years of full-time work, 7 years of full-time professional work, or 5 years of full-time employment in the registrar's office. Those are literally the only qualifications you have to have.
So everybody in this room qualifies to be registrar of voters, correct?
Yeah. From what I'm reading, anybody could, if you have a college degree and some work experience, you could toss your hat in the ring and be there.
Here's the problem we have, because I've heard now from 3 sources, and now Caddo Commissioner Mario Chavez has confirmed, and another commissioner has confirmed that Commission President Stormy Gage Watts is interested in this position. But I think there's a law on the books that prohibits commissioners from holding a parish job for 2 years, until they've been out of office for 2 years. Is that accurate, Dan?
I have been flipping through, doing some light legal reading while we're here, but I'm really not in a position yet to give you a qualified legal opinion.
Okay, I'm going to reach
I'm
out
looking
to
forward I'm looking forward to the parish attorney's office having
Mr.
their say
Bernstein.
today.
Henry is expected to issue a ruling on that. I'll reach out and see if I can get that from Henry in his office later today as well, because that, if she's interested in the post and is eligible, obviously she can't vote on it. Correct? I mean, there'd be no way.
I think we're safe in saying that she would have to recuse herself from participating in that.
Okay. If she's interested but not qualified at this point because of her service on the commission, do you think she could still vote then on the person she would like to see get the job, even if she had an interest in it?
If she has an economic interest in it and possibly getting the gig, if she's one of the competitors or has applied, she should be prohibited from voting, period.
Okay. So the moment she puts her name in the hat, formally, she shouldn't be able to vote.
If she applies, I think she has to recuse herself from any participation.
Even if she's ineligible. So even if they come back and say, yeah, you've applied, but you're not eligible.
Well, I mean, the bar for being eligible, qualifying, is pretty low.
But I mean, as a commissioner, if that makes her ineligible, then maybe,
legally, okay.
So we'll have to wait and see how that all shakes out. But it is a lifetime appointment. I did not realize that. I thought it was an elected position, but it's not.
It's to maintain freedom from any political influence.
That's a good idea.
The thing. Is to ensure the integrity in the election process.
Interesting. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here is Ruby.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Greenwood Road's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're still dealing with a major accident backing up traffic on I-20 eastbound near I-220 in Houghton. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Scattered thunderstorms that fire up today could produce some locally heavy rain and gusty winds. Otherwise, we're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll run that temperature up into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, we'll back it down to a stray shower thunderstorm, partly cloudy skies, overnight low around 71. And then tomorrow, sunshine, clouds mixing, stray shower thunderstorm for the afternoon, low 90s. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here is Maddie.
After the first day of free agency, it looks like the Brooklyn Nets may be the team to beat in the NBA. Both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving signed deals with the Nets, instantly making them a top contender for the title. The U.S. men barely beat Curacao 1-0 to advance in Gold Cup soccer action. The U.S. was beat in every statistical category, but somehow managed to pull off the victory. Meanwhile, the U.S. women's national team will take on England tomorrow at 2 p.m. in FIFA World Cup action. Nate Lashley dominates the Rocket Mortgage Classic, winning by 6 strokes and finishing 25 under par. The win earns Lashley roughly $1.3 million. And in baseball action, the Rangers suffered a beatdown at the hands of the Tampa Bay Rays, losing 6-3. The Astros beat Seattle 6-1. The Yankees beat the Red Sox 12-8, and the Braves went down to the Mets 8-5. From the KEEL Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
.1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin in the morning. And I got to thank you guys for covering for me last week while I was in New York. I had a wonderful time. Robert is out this week. Dan Keel is here. Lavette Fuller is going to join us tomorrow morning. We will plop her in one of these wonderful chairs, and she'll join us for a couple of hours and kind of
that'd be fun.
Do a tri-host situation. We'll see how that works out. But this is my Gracie Award. If you haven't seen it, you can see it on our Facebook feed. I'm gonna post pictures.
Huh?
Yeah, this is the whole shebang. It is a big trophy. It's almost the size of an Oscar. I've held an Oscar, and an Oscar's a little bit heavier and a little bit taller, but this is very heavy. I mean, it's way heavier than you guys anticipated, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Passed it around earlier. It says on it, in case you're just listening to us, the Gracie Awards presented by the Alliance for Women in Media Foundation. On the other side, it says Erin McCarty, Robert and Erin in the morning, co-host, talk personality, small medium market, Town Square Media. And it's a beautiful big trophy with the kind of a shape of a woman's body. And it looks like the face of Gracie Allen in the kind of the spoon top part of it. So thrilled to have been there and have enjoyed the week in New York and got to spend some time with our big corporate brass, and they were so sweet. They all showed up and had lunch with us and enjoyed the celebration. And I'm just humbled. I really am. I get up every morning and do what I love and come back the next day and do it again, and never dreading my days like some people dread going to the office. I know Matt dreads getting in here because I sing every morning, and he doesn't like that. That's the worst part of your day, isn't it?
You are the worst part of my day. That is a truism.
But it's a fun gig. We're not putting down pavement. We're not picking up people's trash. We're having fun for the most part.
You obviously don't hear the same things coming out of your vocal box that I do, because, laying down pavement, asphalt.
No.
Maybe not that bad.
You would whine so much if you were doing that. Oh, my goodness. Dan, you'll be back with us again tomorrow morning.
I will.
Appreciate you coming in, spending part of your time with us. And we will be back. Lavette Fuller will join us tomorrow as well, right here, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Sean.
Remember just a few months ago, the tech world was buzzing over foldable smartphones. If you believed all the hype, this thing was going to change the world. But now it's the 1st of July. 4 months later, there's no foldable phone in sight. So what happened? Kim Commando with your Monday Consumer Tech Update, brought to you by SimpliSafe, the best security system for your home, period. Don't live in fear. Get yours at simplysafekim.com. To cut right to the chase, no one, and I mean no one, not Samsung, not Apple, not Huawei, the giant Chinese tech firm, nor anyone else, has the technology to build a foldable phone screen that will work for more than just a few days. All the companies I just mentioned, plus a few more, promised foldable phones this summer. Samsung was the only one to have demonstrated a foldable phone, the ill-fated Galaxy Fold, whose screen cracked only after a few days of use. No one's saying foldable phones are dead, but don't expect any this year. I'm Kim Commando. This just happened. A woman in Michigan is at work when she gets a call from SimpliSafe Home Security. Her home alarm has been tripped, and they tell her, "There's a man in your house." She says it's probably just her landlord. But SimpliSafe is watching it unfold through her security camera. This guy broke in, they say. He's fending off your dog with a lamp. They made sure she knew what was going on in her home. This is what SimpliSafe does. It's always on the job. The dog and the homeowner are safe. And police now have the video evidence of what this guy looks like. SimpliSafe protects your home with 24/7 professional monitoring. SimpliSafe has no contract, hidden fees, or fine print. And their around-the-clock monitoring is just $15 a month. Don't wait. Order your security system today at simplysafekim.com and get a 60-day money-back guarantee. Plus, you're going to get free shipping and free returns. That's simplysafekim.com. simplysafekim.com.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Greenwood Road's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're still dealing with a major accident backing up traffic on I-20 eastbound near I-220 in Houghton. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Some showers today scattered across the community. High temperature expected to be about 90 degrees or so. It's going to be a hot and sticky afternoon. A shower could be popping up. 60% chance today and a 20% chance of a shower tomorrow.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.